Sony's recent state of play, and 2 Summer Game Fest from Jeff Keighley. Let's talk. What up, viewers? What up? What up? Today is Saturday, May 6th. I know I'm coming in a little late on this one. And that means it's time for a quick recap of the week in video game news. Like I said in the intro, Sony had its most recent state of play 2 days ago? 2 days ago. They showed about 18 minutes. This one was exclusively focused on a single title, Ghost of Tsushima, coming out in July. July 19th? 17th? I always forget. July 17th. And this most recent one was just focused completely on gameplay. They showed about 18 minutes of gameplay. They showed a little bit of the combat. They showed a little bit of the stealth mechanics, because there's like 2 ways to play. You can either be very combat oriented, or you can be very stealth oriented, or you can be a hybrid mixture of both. They also showed different filters, like they have photo mode, and then you can just play the whole game with a black and white filter, which looked really cool, like a very Kurosawa kind of old-timey playthrough. Yeah, they showed off the photo mode, which looked amazing, and they showed the different gear and how that's going to complement your different play styles. And yeah, so it was just 18 minutes of pretty extensive gameplay. So a state of play I would have figured would always be something that included multiple games, but if they want to do this more title specific one, then more power to them. Yeah. Jeff Keighley struck twice this week. He started off his Summer Game Fest, which he said was going to go from May till August. The first one he started this week was on Tuesday, and he had Tony Hawk Pro Skater on, or we had Tony Hawk on. I don't know that every time you say Tony Hawk's name, you have to say Tony Hawk Pro Skater, but it's kind of habit at this point, right? So he had Tony Hawk on. Tony Hawk and him talked about the remaster of the first 2 games, bringing them to the current gen, and I'm actually really excited for this. I didn't know how excited I was. I was like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater when I first heard about it, but I really liked those games when I was a kid. I feel like the music in those games kind of influenced me a lot. I was a very like alternative punky, it was right around that time when that was big and hip. And yeah, I just every time I think about like, the button presses and all that kind of stuff, I don't know, I get really jazzed about it. So looking forward to 1 and 2 remastered. I think I played Tony Hawk like 4 when it came out, a couple years ago, but I barely touched it and I didn't think it was fun. So I'm really excited for 1 and 2 remaster. They showed a couple of the old levels, redone and looking more modern, and yeah, I'm just really excited for those games. And then on Wednesday, Jeff Keighley did his Summer Game Fest, and he was talking to Epic, and not about what you think it is. They were talking about Unreal Engine 5, and they showed a PlayStation 5 tech demo, and they kind of showed some of the front end and the back end of like this awesome like photorealistic cave setting, and they were like changing the angle of the sun and having it like change instantly, and just focusing in on like rocks was like amazing. So I had a couple of my more techie friends were talking about how awesome and powerful the new engine will be. Yeah, they showed this character going through like this statue, and they talked about how many pixels it was and how many polygons it was, because everything's about polygon count. And yeah, it looked really cool. And they showed one statue, and then they go into a room, and then they have like a single light source, and they show it like flickering off of several of the same exact statue that they said took them so long to make. And they just filled the room with these statues. Then they open it up, and then they showed dual light sources and how that's affecting and pinging off everything. It was very impressive. And then they showed like no load screens. They talked about load screens are kind of like a thing of the past, and that games just won't have load screens anymore, which is it's an amazing promise. But there was, I think, a moment where like she was crawling, the character was crawling through like a hole, and it's like there's probably a hidden load in there. But the tech demo was extremely impressive, and they kind of then the character kind of like flies off towards the portal, and you see this giant open landscape and kind of see like how everything's interacting and how photorealistic things are while still being playable. I think that was the most impressive part for me. Was typically when you have these like swooping moments, you're usually in like a cutscene, and they show like, they show the cutscene and you're doing something really badass. But this was actual gameplay where the character was like changing their inputs and all that kind of stuff. It was very impressive. So the Unreal Engine 5, which should be coming, they said 2021, but coming to next gen consoles, and they were saying it's just as powerful as modern, just as powerful as like modern gaming PCs. So hopefully, finally, consoles will be on par with current gen PCs. So I'm excited as a console owner. I'm excited. Lots of other news this week. We have every studio and everybody talking about their E3 alternatives. So the everyone's favorite gaming show, E3, is canceled this year, and so a bunch of publishers have to figure out what they're doing instead. The Inside Xbox for July will be focused on Halo Infinite, and I assume everybody is really excited for that. The last one was kind of more indie games, including the Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Yakuza, but a little bit more indie focused. And now the next one will be for Halo Infinite, which I think is going to be the console, was what's going to sell the Xbox One X's, or Xbox Series X's. God, bad naming convention. But yeah, so if you're looking forward to getting more Halo content, which you expected a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you'll see that in July. Ubisoft will do one big showcase on July 12th. I think it was, I forget what it was called, like Ubisoft Forward or something like that. But yeah, they're doing one big showcase. Kind of their E3 alternative is just to do one big thing where they talk about everything that's coming out for Ubisoft. I expect to see Gods and Monsters, Watch Dogs Legion, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, a bunch of other games that we expected to see circa earlier this year. I bet we'll see them slowly coming out over the next half a year into 2021. Square Enix has decided they're going title by title, so they're going to show off hopefully the next portion of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And they'll be walking through everything. And Avengers, they'll be talking about, Avengers, I believe, is still slotted in for September, but that's where we'll get some more gameplay, I assume. But those will all be title by title. So maybe they'll have Avengers 1 sooner rather than later, and then Final Fantasy VII maybe later in the year. But yeah, we'll see what Square Enix has to do. Everyone's favorite E3 showcase, Devolver Digital, is very on brand as by saying it will happen, but we don't know where and we don't know when. So their showcases are always more of a kind of, I don't know, it's like an improv. It's just crazy. It's the Devolver Digital. If you haven't watched it, there's like a trending like timeline that's like each of the Devolver Digital ones every year has like the same character host, and she's just nuts. And there's always like blood, and it's like a sketch comedy, but it's pretty dark. So the Devolver Digital E3 showcase will happen sometime this year, but we don't know when. And then last of the E3 alternatives, the PC gaming show will happen on June 6th, very E3 time-ish. And they are joining forces with Games Radar and Guerrilla Collective to make everything happen. So we will see a PC gaming show. I always watch it. I don't always pay the closest attention to it, but like last year they had a couple really good games. Phoenix Point, something like that, was like a RTS or 4X game that I was interested in that I saw at the PC gaming show. So, but those are all the E3 alternatives that are happening this year. If you're looking for free games to play this weekend, the Epic Game Store is giving away GTA 5. In fact, when they said that, I believe a bunch of people crowded their website, and it actually crashed their website because people were just going in trying to get GTA 5. Which, who doesn't already own GTA 5? I have to admit I don't. But it was just I thought that was a pretty funny story. Is that so many people wanted to free GTA 5 from the Epic Games Store that it crashed the site. So, but if you want to play GTA 5 free, the site's up and running now, and you can get GTA 5. Fallout 76 is also having its free weekend this weekend, which includes the Wastelander DLC. So if you want to go back and give it a chance, or you never gave it a chance in the first place because you thought it was too barren, you can actually go in and play with the NPCs now. So go check out. I'll have a link down below where you can pick up Fallout 76 and get it for your free weekend. SpaceX is currently docking its Dragon capsule to the International Space Station, and to celebrate this, they created a browser-based docking game, so you can use your WASD characters and your number pad to try and dock your capsule into the International Space Station. And like if you turn too hard, or if your rotation is wrong, or if you're going in at the wrong angle, or you're going in too fast, it'll warn you and your capsule will explode. Actually, I haven't played it yet, but I assume that's what happens. But they say that you failed or whatever if you've rotated too hard or something like that. So I thought that's really cool. I bet a lot of people really like kind of the space stuff. I mean, I saw all the Kerbal Space Program people will all be really excited to see this kind of docking process. So I thought it was pretty cool. World of Warcraft. I love board games. I love World of Warcraft. So those two things are coming together in a small world. The area expansion, kind of area control game, is joining up with World of Warcraft to, I forget the name of the merger. I think it was just called Small World of Warcraft or something like that. Or Small Worldcraft? Crap, I forgot what the name of the game is, but Small World, the board game, and World of Warcraft are joining up to make a Small World version where you include like 20 different creatures from Azeroth and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, you can play the game. I couldn't find a link in the description of where to buy it. Maybe it's not out, and I can't officially buy it yet or pre-order it. But they just kind of, I walked through the article and they talked about how they're combining it and how it'll feel this very similar. There's, it talked about the previous two versions of Small World. Yeah, so I'm really excited for it. Last but not least, there is DLC coming to Predator Hunting Ground that is bringing a reprisal of Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from The Predator. I believe his name's, it's Dutch, right? So you can say, get to the chopper in your Arnold voice to your heart's content, because the Arnie DLC is coming to Predator Hunting Ground. So, yep, that's it for the week. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch. Links down in the description below so you can see more great content like this. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super weekend. You have a super day. Bye.